Hi, and welcome back to Kie
and Craig's
Crazy Craft Corner. Today we're going to do a video on our Cryptkeeper build. We're going to do the head today and we're going to animate it. And we are going to have a special guest star coming in to help us do the animation. So stay tuned. Welcome back. Now, like we mentioned before the break, we have a special guest.
We do.
So
He's very special.
Let's bring in Vince Moore.
Yay! Vince Moore! Welcome!
How are you? Hello all.
So Vince is going to help us animate our Cryptkeeper skull. So Vince, can you give us just a little bit of a background?
I come from a theater background. I was a theater tech for a great many years, and I've worked in set construction and props and all the magic that goes on behind the scenes.
Ooh, all the magic. Yes, not like what we do. Just like not very magical at all.
Not at all.
So we are going to animate this skull for our Cryptkeeper, and basically what we want to do is we want it just to go back and forth like
Just
this.
something simple.
Yeah, so we asked Vince if he knew of a way to animate the skull, and
He said yes.
he said yes.
I came up with some really complex, involved systems that were way out of the budget for the show.
Yeah,
Because we don't have a budget.
yeah,
so
it's
we
really
really
too
wanted to-
bad that we just don't have a simple solution.
Yeah,
An
just
inexpensive, simple solution. We'll be right back. All right. We just figured out how to animate our skull. So now we need to figure out how to take this apart.
This is a thrift store find. So they come in a great variety of ways. And this one looks like it just has pressure clips. So we're just going to try to unpressure them.
Do you need a screwdriver or something?
Tool to pry.
Oh, tools.
Craig's so wimpy.
Tools.
Okay,
Here, you
I'll
can
hold
have
it.
that.
Thanks.
All you need is fingers of fury.
Ooh, we can make
You can make a Big
You can
Trouble in
strain
Little
your
China.
spaghetti with that.
A Big Trouble in Little China hat.
I can go panning for gold.
What would you do with this?
That'd be some awfully big gold flakes.
I'm looking for nuggets, baby.
Just like we are in California, I guess.
Yeah.
No, don't. We throw not in our house.
Look, you have two of them.
I can use this as sifting
You can have
rocks.
you can have two hats. All right.
All right, so now we
Don't
just
need
have the mechanism that's going to go back and forth.
Should we keep these in case we need them later?
I just should keep everything.
Yeah,
Everything.
yeah.
Important crafting tip: never throw anything away because you just never know. That was my teacher.
I think one of the next things we need to do is make sure our skull is going to fit
It's
on
gonna
this.
fit on that. All right, Craig, you have the skull. In
I
your
have the
set?
skull.
All right.
Look.
Where's the skull?
All right, so
I was looking for another
So now
screwdriver.
is this entire thing the mechanism?
yeah, so the
Okay.
pivot point is right here,
Okay.
right? And we're going to need to make sure that somewhere around the base of the skull lines up with that, and that it all kind of fits in there. And I think, looking at it, it looks like we can
It
make
looks
it
like
fit.
it's just gonna fit.
Yeah, like
I
it's
mean,
pretty
this
close.
is actually almost skull shaped.
We might have a
weird
a
skull. I
shaft
don't know what
sticking
kind
out
of
his nose.
skull can-
Well, but it fits in this little.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's almost that shape.
Right, right.
It's
Word
like
of the
it's
day.
like a
Word of the day. Cranium. It will fit inside the cranium.
cranium is not a very odd word though.
When was the last time you used cranium?
I think I was playing a board game.
I was gonna say I think I played cranium the other day.
Yeah.
Okay, so in order to take this apart, we're just gonna need like a screwdriver, I guess, and or a hammer, perhaps.
To take this apart?
Yes.
Do we need to take the housing apart?
Well, I don't know. Does this? You tell me.
No, I don't think so. I think the less we do with this, the better off we are.
Okay. But we obviously need to get rid of some of all of this, right?
Well,
needs
this
to-
has the controls for how fast you want it to oscillate back and forth.
Okay.
So I'm pretty sure we need to figure out how to set dress this with the rest of the body.
Well, here's our body, and I mean, we have this nubbin. Nubbin. There's a word of the day right there. we have this nubbin at the top here.
I'm not familiar enough with his neck.
I don't know if you can put. Well, his neck, the Cryptkeeper's neck is actually thicker than this. It's a fairly.
Well,
thick
then
neck.
that's.
So I don't know if we could maybe, I don't know, maybe cut this off or drill this down, and you can stick the.
And that material is
shaft
foam?
right no, this is just plastic.
Plastic, melted
Yeah.
plastic.
Melted plastic.
Yeah, we
Plastic
quartzed
sheeting.
this
All right.
ourselves.
So there is a piece of cheapy Halloween
plastic
skeleton in there.
Okay.
Like thrift store, CVS skeleton.
So do we feel
So
like we can
very
get this
easily cuttable.
this shaft part of it into the center spine?
Possibly. We'd have to maybe get rid of some of this stuff.
Well,
maybe the casing.
I mean, our other option is to just slide it down the back.
This
as
comes
well.
apart.
Oh,
It's
well,
not
there you
gonna
go.
show.
So we can take this base
Yeah,
part
definitely.
off
Okay.
and just have the shaft.
We don't need this, right?
Don't need that nut.
All right, so we took the outer shaft off and casing.
And our electronics are exposed, and it looks like trying to figure out the mounting of the shaft, the support shaft, to this device. I think we really have to keep this as an integral unit and somehow figure out how to put it inside the corpse.
Okay.
Because this and this
Right together.
go together. So trying to eliminate this, I don't think is going to be in our best interest.
Okay. All right. And also, this will probably help it a little since it's going to be outside. We're going to want it to be at least a little bit water resistant.
Oh yeah, this will definitely help with keeping it
Yeah.
weather resistant.
Yeah, because this is going to go on our roof outside for about 3 weeks. So
Right.
even though we're in California, we still do get rain in October. So we have to make sure that it's going to be able to stand up to the rain.
And I think that since this is also needs some amount of airflow, I think when we open up the skull, we should probably be a little bit conscious of rain and water. So we have to make sure we seal the back.
Although if we only open the bottom, this is all sealed already. So this is going to be like an umbrella over it. So I think as long as we don't puncture any holes up here anywhere.
Come in through the bottom.
Yeah, if we don't. Yeah, I think then that'll be fine for that as well. So okay, that sounds
Conscious
great.
of that.
So let's keep working on this.
All right.
So we think that this shaft that this fan normally spins on might get in the way because it will still be spinning, and we don't want it to be spinning inside the skull. So we're just taking this cover off to see if there's a way that's less difficult than getting a hacksaw or a metal cutting disc blade to do that, as opposed to just popping off a screw to take this shaft off. So we're just kind of looking and seeing, and it looks like it's maybe integral, and we'd have to take everything off.
Yep.
We'd have to take the whole motor apart because there's 4 screws to take this lid off
Right.
to look inside. I'm sure there's probably a way, but then you run the risk of messing up the electronics inside, and we don't want to do that.
We don't want to go that far.
So what are you going to use to cut this with then?
Probably a hacksaw blade.
Just a
I think would
hacksaw
be
blade.
good.
Hacksaw blade, or you've got a disc grinder.
Sure, with cutting wheel.
With a
Right.
cutting wheel, could use that. A Dremel tool, if you're really pushing for it, it'll take a long time, and you'll probably go
That's a
through
good
a lot
steady
of.
hand if you're going to use a Dremel
Yeah,
tool.
but I would, if I knew we were going to do that, I would have brought my little angle grinder and right through.
All right. Well, I
But
think we have something we
got,
can use. Then.
Yeah, we
All
got
right.
different options.
Great. All right. Then we'll take a look at that.
We've been cutting not for that long, and we just about are ready to bust through the hardened metal shaft with just the spinning of it and the little hand hacksaw. So not real time, we stopped recording, but we're just about there to show you that it can be done. Just a little bit of patience. Boom. Just like that.
All right, so we got the piece cut off finally. So now what we're going to do is we're going to measure this out and figure out how we want to cut the skull. What we're talking about doing right now is cutting it to a point and leaving, you said you want to leave a flap so that this
so it's like
basically
it's almost like
back.
a hinge, right?
And so that we can put this inside of it and then just close it down around it. We're gonna have to play with it a little bit because we're not 100% sure how this is gonna fit in there and how we're gonna do it yet. So we're gonna start just messing around with that a little bit.
And I'm guessing this little nubbin's gonna go away, and that's where part of this shaft would come out.
Yeah,
right
so yeah, instead of that nubbing going into the skeleton, we'll use
because this is now the neck that's coming off the skeleton.
Yes.
So
our new nubbin.
Our new nubbin. It's a much larger nubbin.
It's just fun saying nubbin,
Nubbin.
isn't it?
Nubbin.
Nubbin.
All right, so we're gonna figure this out. We're gonna kind of eyeball it and figure out where we want to cut it and how far we need to cut it.
Yep. All right, we'll get started on that. Here's what we've decided to do for this. We've cut it open now. We've fit this piece inside. It fits fine. We've turned it on. Everything works. So we are going to basically use this as a helmet for this fan. We're going to get some of the what is the caulking glue that he has. We're going to rough this up a little bit on the inside, put the caulking glue in, and then we're going to use styrofoam and padding to just build a flat surface that we can then attach this piece to. And that way we don't have to worry about, if we were to use something like Great Stuff or anything like that, you have to worry about it filling in these holes accidentally or clogging up any of this stuff. So with the way we're going to do it, we don't have to worry about any of that.
Which we want open, obviously, so the fan works and it doesn't clog up the gears or any of the electronics inside.
Yeah, so we're basically just looking at this as a helmet that we're putting on this guy's head.
This is the head, this is the helmet.
Yeah, so we're going to pad it that way. So let's get started on that then. Great.
absolutely.
If only we had some white bead foam. There's a bunch right there.
Yeah, guys, like, what are we doing now? All right. We're at the point now where we've cut out our styrofoam padding that we're going to put in here. We're just going to use some, what is that again?
Yeah, this is Gorilla Glue Heavy Duty Construction Adhesive. You can use anything, silicones, stuff. Waterproof will be good if it's going to be outside. Make sure if you're using this kind of polystyrene foam that you don't use something that will eat polystyrene foam.
Right.
Because then all that time you took to carve it, make it nice and pretty and fit, it will just dissolve it.
Now we've sanded the inside of this plastic skull, and we've also done some score lines on the inside just to help that with a little bit of the grip, because it was very smooth and shiny on the inside, and we want everything to stick pretty nicely. So, and the styrofoam we just cut with a styrofoam cutter, and then we took a little styrofoam sander and kind of shaped it a little bit so that it would fit in here. And we tested everything. We put this in with the foam before we tied it down, and it all fits and everything. So we're going to do this, and then we're going to let it sit for a little bit, and hopefully it'll go off a little, and then we can start working on how we're going to put the skull onto the actual body form. That looks very yummy.
Yummy. That's what I was thinking. That's
Not
lunchtime.
Not quite
it looks
what
like
I was-
icing.
It
No,
does.
it looks like
Looks
you're
so
like
far.
you need to write happy birthday or
I
something
could
with it.
have.
We could put secret messages in here, and no one would ever know what it says.
That's what I used to do when
Well,
I was working
actually,
on projects.
at least 20 people would know what it says.
It wouldn't be too secret
the
then,
20
would
the
it?
20 people that watch this video.
Our moms would know.
Our moms would know what it says.
Sorry, you want me to goop some in there too? Or do you think that's
No, I think that this is
That's
good.
probably gonna be
Okay.
So I'm going to insert this in
And we
here
can always come back and fill a little bit in there.
and take it and smash it in really good and move it around a little bit. It'll get it into the lines
Score
that
lines.
key cuts. and help fill in the
Good contact.
spaces and smash it in tight.
I think that's good. You want some on the sides?
No, I think that's good. I think we're good on that part of it. Now, we also want to adhere
We
this.
should scuff that.
Yeah,
this.
let's score that a little too then, shall we? But I guess, are you going to put that in
I'll
the
put it
top piece, or
inside,
you
yeah.
put it on here? Okay.
No, I'm going to put it in here.
Now, do we have to be careful not to, should we put tape over this hole? Or so nothing
I
goes
think that
into
it couldn't hurt. Actually, this vinyl tape here that we have for electrical purposes would be a good thing
And
to
look,
put
I'm
on
doing
that.
exactly what we just said don't do, which is
Cut towards yourself.
pulling it towards my own knees and
You're
legs.
exposed.
My exposed flesh, which I have. You guys have a lot more exposed flesh than I do.
Isn't that good?
We did.
It's like
this-
all my gigolos on the.
We
on the
purposely
show.
wore shorts today
I
for all
know.
the female members in the viewing audience.
For the viewing audience, yes.
Craig single, y'all.
He's got a ring.
All right, that's probably good enough. And you want to put the tape over it? There you
Yes.
go.
Probably not the best tape. 'Cause I can't
She's
whip
got
it.
a knife right
Gee
there.
whiz, I know.
You know, and we're going to ignore
Kate,
that.
You want to cut that?
No.
Come on. Come on.
Can I
Right-
put
right towards me.
you?
Not towards me.
Who am I going to cut towards? There you go.
Oh. Yeah, do a couple there.
It's just tape.
No.
What?
Give me.
Okay. That's
Really?
probably going to do it right there. I think you.
I know, that's what
you're
but I
good.
want it, I don't want it to,
Nothing will ever penetrate that surface.
that's my point.
All right, so one of the things once we get this set in here is we're going to want to let this set to harden, and we're going to make sure that everything kind of fits the way we want it to. The skull closes down around the edges. When we were carving out the piece of foam, we made sure that we had enough clearance around our skull for this movement. And now that this is in there and we feel like, does it look about right?
Yeah. I think
Tilt it forward a little bit?
Yeah, maybe a little bit.
Well, we can tilt it forward by loosening the screw on the
After-
head
yeah, when
of
we're
the
done.
and tilt it down.
Yeah, that makes
But I
sense.
feel like that's pretty good.
We want to
So
have
we're
some
gonna
weight on it.
some weight on it so that it'll set nice.
And how do you plan on putting weight on it?
Well, normally I would say use a sandbag, but that's not something everybody has in their.
I actually have some sandbags.
Well, then we'll use a sandbag.
I just have to go get them.
Sandbags, or if you have dumbbell weights
I have dumbbell
that
weights as well.
can circle, you can put it over
No, I
if
don't think
that's
that, I don't
if
think
it's
they
not
have
big
that.
enough.
I don't think their hole is
Okay.
that big.
And the weight is there to keep constant pressure in between all the glue areas so that it all holds nice and tight while we eat lunch and let it set.
Okay. All right. We'll be back.
Basically, we're going to cut away the corpsing that is in between the collarbone and the spine to fit this, and then this
Wait.
this will sit in here. We'll zip tie this to the spine, and then we'll just figure out the adjustment from there, and then solidify it that way.
We've got the skull and the shaft all put into the skeleton now. We cut out this little area here so that this would fit in. At first we were worried that this was going to be a little too long, that we might have to cut some stuff off to get it in there. But after looking at a couple of different reference pictures, we've decided that this is actually the perfect height for this. So it's going to work out great. So
Gives us the spine. We needed to chisel a little bit away just to
Yeah.
get it in there, but we're going to obviously use that, since we left the majority of it, to do the zip ties on, so we have something secure, because that's a really heavy, thick piece of plastic. So we're going to zip tie it a couple times up here, a couple times down inside the body, and then we'll dress this out a little bit later on with some we decided some nylons.
Yeah, we're just gonna get some good old fashioned
Yeah.
pantyhose.
Vince came up with that
women
idea.
call them,
Because
pantyhose.
it's pantyhose, because it'll be able to flex with the movement of the head.
Yeah, and so we ran the cord down through the skeleton. He's going to have this outfit on, and this is going to be obviously under the desk that I'm making for him. So we'll just run that out through there, and it'll plug in. Nobody will ever see the cord, and his head will do that movement. Now, after we've attached this, that's pretty much Vince's
Pretty
job
much
is
it.
done.
It's animated at that point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you did. It's great. It worked out great. We're going to go back and add some bulk and some details and turn the skull itself into the Crypt Keeper. This is obviously not how this is not the finished item. This is not how it's going to look, but we just wanted to get it all mounted and put together before we started taking the time to build up the skull, make sure that it was going to work. So Vince, this is great.
My pleasure. It was fun being here
And
today.
I really appreciate it. We've had a lot of fun
Yeah.
hanging out with you and learning how to do this kind of stuff. It's kind of a trial by fire or a trial by fan.
Well, yeah. There's always a little bit of always a little bit of hit and miss.
And
Vince, you're now elected. You can be. It's gonna be Kie and Vince's crafty corner.
and now the
Kidding.
skeleton is our biggest fan.
Oh,
Oh,
really? Now I got it. I really